Welcome back to Smashing Hits Podcast. This is episode 46. As always, my name is Zach, and I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, what's up?
My best friend, Jake.
As I just finished putting my putting my chapstick on. I would like to ask everyone, as always, how's everybody doing tonight?
So last week was a boys' night episode.
Yeah!
Might have a new segment out of that. We'll have to see later.
We have been dreaming big over here at the Smashing Hits headquarters.
Was it a dream?
No,
it was only a dream.
I think it was an unintentional thing because I was so sick.
Well, Zach used to read WOTW magazine.
That's a good song.
Salt and pepper and heavy dip in his limousine.
Who was that? Who was that you said?
What?
Salt and who?
Peppa the Pig.
Who said salt and pepper?
It's that George Bush in me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that how he says it?
Georgia Bush.
Yeah. You know,
George Bush Jr.
Every time George Bush says salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper.
So, if you were with us last week, we probably talked about it. I don't remember, to be honest, but Brandon jumped on Instagram Live, which is not available anymore, but you should get on our Instagram Lives when we do them because you never know what's going to happen. We've got some people watching right now. Someone actually just said they're going to a Salt and Pepper concert in a week.
Shout out. That's a good time.
Hey, the Instagram Live, did you not archive that? You can save it to your page to where it never goes away.
Yeah, we did something, and then I don't know what happened.
I don't know that we were in top form, though, so I don't know.
It was you had to be there to see it.
You had to be there.
Yeah, and or watch it within the next 24 hours. But these are special moments. You gotta jump in. You gotta be in the moment. Otherwise, you might miss stuff.
You mean precious moments?
No, I don't.
Well, here's one thing you guys probably realized if you didn't realize it by the intro music.
So here's one thing we realized if we didn't realize it.
Here's one thing I want to point out if you didn't realize it. Is that proper?
I don't know.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Hannah's back this week.
Well, yeah, I think I said that when we started.
Did you?
Well,
I was putting my chapstick on.
Yeah, you're wooting. Yeah. No, I said it was a boys' night last week. I may not have said directly that she was back, but she had talked already.
But she's here.
She is here.
We've got a full house again tonight.
I'm pretty sure I'm here.
We got a full house. Our dogs are here. They're not in the shot, which they were on the Instagram Live last week. Both of them.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me that.
Well, I did it. I brought them in here. I picked them both up and showed them to the audience, and they loved them.
They went wild.
They all took their shirts off. That's how wild it went.
Yeah.
The dogs or the people watching?
Everyone in the world.
Buster got excited as always because he's
very attracted to me.
Right. It's just something that
I don't know if it's an attraction or
it's an attraction.
He's so obsessed with you because you are his person. You know, like especially when there's two parents to a dog, there's always one
who's better.
No, not necessarily better, but that they like.
Yeah, that they
bond with more closely.
He bonds the heck out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lets me know in a physical way every time I see him.
He was supposed to be my puppy.
But
you took him.
Speaking of him bonding you, boy, don't you love our Slack group and how we get slacked by our patrons?
What a great
site!
Talk about our Patreon for a sec, Zach.
I do really love our Patreon Slack group. I didn't know you were going to segue to that, but
it's a good one, right?
It's been way more fun than I ever expected. I wasn't sure how much interaction we'd get. I thought maybe people would talk during the actual show when it premiered, but people talk to each other all throughout the week, all about all kinds of things, because we have a channel that's about War of the Worlds. We have a channel that's just random. We have a channel about past seasons. And
we talk about corn dogs a lot.
You know, if Katie's involved, for sure. But, yeah, people just get in there and they ask each other stuff. They talk about sports. They talk about random stuff. So it's been really cool because it's a really fun way for everyone to connect outside of the show.
And there's a thing now, shout out to Brian who just commented on our Instagram Live video. People are starting to spell your name correctly. Z-A-C, actually he spelled it differently. Z-A-C-H-K. So a little correction there. It's close. It's actually better than how Zach believes it's spelled. Z-A-C-K-H.
Yeah, that's how I believe it's spelled.
No, that's the correct spelling. You think it's just ZAC.
Yeah.
Which is not.
It's just because I really liked Hanson a lot growing up, and
Right.
that's how he spelled it.
Right.
And then Zac Efron copied me.
Well, and you were a big Zach Morris fan, but you wanted
That's spelled with a K.
right, so you wanted to throw the extra letter on there.
Yeah, yeah. I was a big Zach Morris fan growing up. Probably Slater more than Zach, but I like both of them.
How great would it be if instead of this wild song we have for our open, we used "Friends Forever"?
It would be great, but or the like Snow White rap,
Oh yeah.
but we couldn't because again we don't own the rights to it.
And what about the slow song that Jesse and Slater sang together?
Where they were
as,
dressed like Cleopatra.
right, because it was the episode. It was that whole saga where Kelly is dating Jeff
The manager of the Mac.
and Max, the Max.
Yeah, the Max.
And then, yeah, but here's the thing. This is not a Saved by the Bell breakdown podcast. Maybe
you
one of these
sure?
days.
One of these
I
days,
would
maybe.
I would do a Saved by the Bell breakdown, but the fact is that someone's probably really mad that we've gone this long.
Well, here's the thing. If you want
Everybody gets mad about everything.
Yeah.
everyone, I don't care. But if you want to be a part of the Patreon, patreon.com/smashingheads podcast, we do exclusive stuff on there. Earlier this week, we dropped an interview, audio and video, with one of our patrons, Connor, and then talked to him just about his background with the challenge. He came over from Big Brother and kind of migrated with some of those new cast members, so it was kind of interesting to see his side of things. But we also, this weekend, we're dropping our challenge fantasy draft that we did with Logan from Rotten Banana Podcast.
What a
And
time.
it was so much fun. I think I got the best.
Not even close.
I got the prettiest.
That may be true,
That
actually.
may be true.
It's,
Unintentionally.
it's like 2 hours and 15 minutes. We did a 4-person challenge fantasy draft.
15 man roster.
Yeah, and we had some parameters to it. You can hear it whenever it drops if you're on our Patreon. But that'll drop sometime this weekend, hopefully Friday morning. And then Sunday morning, our Patreon members will get the interview we did with Frank Sweeney, and then that'll go live with everyone else Monday. That interview was really fun. We probably talked about it last week, but we had a ton of fun with him, and we're excited for that to roll out.
I had a good time with Frank. It's
We all did.
Probably it's definitely our shortest interview.
But he had time constraints. That was what he said, 45 minutes. Is that what it was?
No, he said we got we ended up going about 50 minutes with him.
But I mean, he told us that was the most time that he could do, and I mean, I'd rather have 50 minutes as opposed to no minutes with Frank. So I was fine with it.
Anyone would.
There was so much quality in it, though.
Lots of quality, not as much quantity as what some of our other ones have been, but again, it was super fun. Patreon.com/smashingheads podcast. Again, they get all our interviews at least 24 hours in advance, and there's also a bunch of other perks you can look at. Speaking of, all of our stickers came in this week for our Patreon members.
However,
there was a printing error with them, and it's supposed to be white ink with a clear background. There was stuff splattered all over every single sticker in random spots, so it wasn't a design problem, it was a manufacturing problem.
You texted me the F word.
I didn't, but
But you wanted to.
no, I wasn't that mad.
no, not really. He was more like, "Are you, seriously?"
Yeah, so they had to reprint them, and they overnighted them, and they should be here tomorrow. And if they screw up again, then we're going to get our money back and go with a different company. And I will have no problem saying who messed up our orders because that's twice. But
God.
But if they get it right this time,
we'll be good to go.
then it's fine.
Yeah. So all of our stickers, we actually ordered a bunch of extra ones. So even if you're not a Patreon member, thank you. We can.
I was sick.
No.
I was sick for a week. I couldn't even be here last week.
You guys,
It's a disaster.
so even if you're not a Patreon member, you can actually get the stickers from us. It'll just be basically the cost of the sticker plus shipping. So we'll have some extras of those. We'll do some giveaways because we ordered some extras on purpose. So we'll give some out for free. But other than that, I think that's all my notes. That's all my notes. Logan
Speaking of
Frank
notes,
stickers.
Are you going? Lots of people asked if you were going to read my notes tonight.
I'm going.
Does that mean that you just want me to like bring up topics?
No.
You read through my notes.
No. Here's what we'll do. Here's how it'll work from now on. for the rest of
What do you mean
the
from
shows.
now on?
Yeah, from now on. So we'll talk through the show like normal. Don't read your exact quotes. Just talk about stuff. And then at the end of the show, I'll read all of your notes really succinctly, like back to back, and then Jake and I will analyze them. Mm-hmm. Because they're full sentences. Ours are just kind of like 2 or 3 words at a time.
No, my notes are I watch, I think something in my head, I immediately write it down.
If you see something, say something.
Yeah, just like in the subways in New York.
Yeah.
So that's what my notes look like. And like when if I think like a joke or something funny about someone else, it's more along the lines of I write it down so that I can remember that and then bring it up in conversation when we record.
Yeah, it's just a completely different note style than Jake or I have. Probably I have the least amount of notes out of anybody, and then I just kind of wing it from there.
Well, I mean, I write full sentences down, but I don't read them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So just
like I don't read them out loud. I look down at them while we're recording. Like right now, my first note.
don't you dare.
Be careful.
Okay, so right now I'm reading it to myself, but I'm not going to read it out loud verbatim. It reminds me of what I wanted to say on here.
Yeah,
which is always something different.
At the end of the show, I'm going to read them verbatim.
Right.
That's what'll happen. And then this will be a new segment.
I think this is a good idea.
I didn't know this was going to be like a from now on thing.
Well, we've got three more episodes.
Lots of people said,
and then we're dying.
Lots of people said that they thought that they liked it from last week.
By the way, I like how you're saying we told you before we started recording that everyone liked it.
No, but I saw a lot of tweets about it earlier this week, or
it was a hit
late last week. And so I didn't know if like you would just try it again today. I didn't know you think that you're just going to do it forever.
We'll see until we're all dead.
We're about trial and error over here. You go way back into the archives of Smashing Heads podcast,
which is not that far.
Well, it's if you do the math on it,
we're almost a year in.
Well, not even that.
That's not math.
It kind of is. It's
not
numbers.
Really.
It's numbers and time. So let's just say
time is not math.
Let's just
time
say
is time.
Conservatively, we're 46 episodes in. Let's say an hour and a half each episode, give or take, on each side. Mm-hmm. That's 69 hours plus our interviews. plus our interviews.
That is
plus episode 0.
We're at about 4 days worth of podcast.
More than that.
Yeah.
Or, well, I don't know, maybe close to it.
Well, so going back into the archives, I tried this thing, my 3 things.
Yeah, I'm really glad we don't do that anymore.
We did that for about 2-3 episodes.
We didn't do it. You did it.
Well, it's funny because, like, if you go back to other podcasts and start from the beginning, they do stuff like that. They're like, oh, we need segments.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, hey, how did this get made? Used to do that. They're like,
Yeah.
What was your WTF moment? They don't do that anymore. They found their flow. We found our flow.
I just realized that it was going over about as well as a freight train and a wooden barn.
You mean a bull in a china shop?
That too.
You mean I don't even have one.
In other words, it's
you're
not
country.
It's not going over well.
Well,
and so this you did this.
I can't stop coughing. I was sick.
You
That's been
did
your whole
this
life.
last week, and it went over like a freight train on a railroad.
the way it should
So
be.
smooth.
The way it should be.
Yeah. Again, we'll try it. We'll go from there. Let's get into tonight.
Okay, I'm going to start reading my notes.
Turbo started his own food challenge to start the episode.
Yeah, so he sat down at the table with a mountain of food. I couldn't even make out what it was.
Eggs and looked like sausage.
And I think I thought out loud, or maybe I thought to myself, is this what he normally sits down to eat for breakfast in the mornings? Because that's insane.
For the record, you did not say that.
I thought I did.
Yeah.
I know what she went through. You think you said it, but you didn't.
Well, that happens a lot on this show because we record a lot. We do Instagram Lives, which are not recorded, and we talk about things. And then we'll do like Patreon exclusive podcasts where we'll talk about things, and then we're not sure. And then we'll have to do interviews where we've talked about stuff. So it does run together after a while. And then we also talk with each other randomly about challenge things. So
I gotta say, like, have you ever done that? Have you ever eaten like
Aiton.
Aiton.
shout out to DeAndre Ayton. Have you ever eaten
Yeah.
like a whole load of food and then just tried to walk? You ever go to like sushi?
So sushi. Yeah,
We had
You know what I'm
sushi
talking about? Like
last night.
Mexican food.
Is that what we had last night? No, night before last. We went. There's a new sushi place that opened up across the street from where I work, and we tried it, and it was actually pretty good.
continue.
We all love Mexican food,
Yeah.
but it sits like a rock. Am I right? All that chips and
Usually, it just goes right through me.
it can, but until it goes right through you, it sits like a rock. All the cheese dip, all the chips and salsa, all the, refried beans, the rice, all of it. Have you ever just tried to run after that?
No.
Why would you?
Not right after eating food like that.
But I'm saying, like, some food like that just makes you want to go just sit on the couch for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
That's
imagine-
Mexican food.
I
Makes me
imagine
not want to do anything.
that is what Turbo was experiencing, right? Like,
Well, he seemed to be. He was like, "Hey, I know that they have food challenges in these things. I need to sort of prepare myself for this."
weird thing is, spoiler alert, no food yet.
Well, this episode,
yeah.
I don't think they would have shown him prepping like that if there's not going to be something coming down to it.
I don't think they would have this intense of a season without having a food challenge at all.
Well,
I just don't. I don't.
it would be.
I don't think they.
It would
they
be strange, but they very like that's what they opened the show with was Turbo doing his own food challenge, talking about how hard it was, how he's pushing himself, and then he immediately goes
to run
and runs on the treadmill. And Theo's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Get out of here!" And
No, he said I'm training.
yeah, and I think he said like go back to bed or something because it was early in the morning. But it was like a ton of eggs. It looked like some sort of cheese in it, and then some meat, like sausage. It looked like like a full dinner plate piled like 4 or 5 inches high.
It was like a mountain.
Throw some gravy on that, you're in serious trouble.
Yeah, it was a lot. So
Or maybe the gravy would help it slide down his gullet more.
no, that would
No.
make you miserable.
Gravy's heavy.
Yeah.
My question is, has Turbo ever seen a season of The Challenge? Did he watch before coming on?
I don't know
it
how we
seems-
could answer that.
It seems like something that he would do to prepare as like a form of knowing what to kind of expect and learn what to train for. How to train.
He hasn't done any interviews with any like no other podcast or anything, so I really don't know if as soon as he does one, even ours, if that's a possibility.
Hey.
I would give anything.
Well, I don't know because again, he's in a whole nother country.
I'll fly to Turkey.
English is not his first language.
That's okay.
He's in a completely different time zones, and so he hasn't done anything like that because there's a lot of barriers there, and so because of that, I don't know what his background is. We obviously know he was on Survivor Turkey, won it twice, I think, and tonight it kind of got the better of him a couple times. Not in the food challenge though.
No,
he made up himself.
I just wondered how he knew to train for a food challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I would think he did some homework. Again, I don't feel like he's in the same mindset as like a D, who's was like, oh, sure, I'll do it. What's this show?
Yeah. But, I mean, she's young and doesn't really have anything, that she's tied to
They're
that
probably
can
the same
hold her
age.
down. Yeah, but she's more of like a free spirit. She's like, I'm young and free. I can just go off and for 3-4 months without talking to anybody to a foreign country and shoot a show that I've never even seen or heard of before.
It's literally what she did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he probably knew something going in. The next thing that they kind of cut to, though, is Georgia, Wes, and Theo in the kitchen, and they're all talking, and Wes is like trying to give them a little bit of advice, and they're like, whatever. And
He told them that he was trying to coach them.
yeah, and at one point, he said, if you're not a little scared, you're not prepared. Because
I think that resonated with Theo.
I don't know, but it's true. It's 100% true. What he talked about before that was basically if you mess up in some of these and everyone's watching it, like you may not live it down for like a decade. And they're like, did you do that? And he's like, yeah, one time, which is,
He actually said a couple times.
I think he said once because it was the one that Kenny carried him. That for just a little leg.
How old do you think Turbo is?
27.
34.
Wow. He will be 31 on July
Really?
3rd.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was closer.
So we split the difference on that one.
Your age, right?
I was closer.
Yeah, because you'll be 31
I was closer.
in October.
I
think you guys were like right down the middle.
Right down
I
the middle.
had the-
He's 30, and I said 27. He's 3
I
years
had
away.
the closer guess.
If anything, I was closer.
If anything, Zach was closer.
No, but he's about to be 31, so I was closer.
Okay. So, yeah, and how old's D? Like 26?
D turned 26 April 20th.
Nailed it.
Happy late birthday to one of our favorites.
I already wished her happy birthday because we're friends. So
Did you DM her?
I don't think so.
Then it didn't count.
So
Only boys do that.
we
Not this boy.
get into the start of the final. Basically, a helicopter flies in. It's early in the morning, it seems. TJ lands. Everyone gets out, and they're like, "What is this? What's happening?" And he's like, "Hey, you guys ready to start this final?" And
They're all like in their pajamas.
yeah, it's early in the morning.
Because George is wearing her sunny side up shorts.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
She was wearing white shorts with eggs that were sunny side up. They were plastered all over her shorts.
That's a wild concept.
I didn't
They
notice
were
it.
super cute. It's not the first time she's worn them on the show either.
You're a girl, Hen. Which are cuter, those or the old little sweatpants girls used to wear?
Say like juicy on the butt.
Juicy and
Pink.
pink, and
I hated those.
there's always something off about them to me. I didn't enjoy
It's
those.
the beach towel fabric that they're made of.
Yeah,
Yeah. It looks like a bathrobe.
yeah.
But so yeah, basically he's like, "Hey, you ready for this?" And then the song didn't play. Then but then this like bus, well, not a bus, I guess it's like a box truck pulls up.
That's right.
And
Pain train.
That's not.
not what it's called. Pain Locker is what he called
Yeah.
it.
Not to be confused.
Should have called it the pain train.
They didn't call it the Hurt Locker.
I was gonna say not to be confused with the Hurt Locker.
Yeah, and so they do that, and it looks super creepy and rusty, but like on the inside, like the seats are just covered in like some sort of cloth.
If you were gonna make a vehicle
Uh-huh.
called the Pain Locker,
Should be called the pain train.
what
It wasn't a train.
That
though.
was their first mistake, though.
what are you putting in your pain locker? Because it's not for you. Because you're not gonna be the one in pain.
Is this a question for Zach or for both of us?
All of us.
Okay, so first of all, mine would be called the pain train, and on the inside,
She doesn't
I
understand
would
what
have
trains are.
you know how at Christmas time they have those little those little trains that go on their own, like they push themselves, like they're like robotic or whatever. I would have those set up across the interior of the inside of the train. And it would be a little mini train that looks just like the train that they're sitting inside of. And it would run the perimeter of the inside of the train. And it would just be cute. It would be train themed. And then everybody would wear a conductor's hat. And they would be served.
I think she forgot you asked about what your pain locker.
They
would be.
They would be served little China teacups of hot chocolate. But the hot chocolate would be room temperature, which is the hardest to drink.
This is a Pain Locker adjacent.
It's not. No, it's just a completely different concept altogether.
And then
it's not even a locker. It's a train.
They have to take turns standing in one of those coffins with the needles that stick inside, because that's got to freak you out.
Standing in one.
Yeah, you know those coffins where it's got the pokers all inside, where it would like pierce you all the way through. But it's just
I think those are only in vampire movies, and they're not real.
It's just enough room that you can sit in there without actually getting really hurt. But they each have to take turns standing in it.
I think that was on Chris Angel's Mind Freak one time too.
It's just not real.
And then
Can I tell you what would cap this off?
what?
If you had CT in the middle of the room doing his iconic choo choo. Yeah.
So not a good pain train.
No.
Listen. It's my pain train. I make it what I want.
So my idea immediately when you said it, do you remember? I think it was Jackass 1 or maybe
Watch
2.
your language.
The movie.
It's a quote.
It's not.
It's a title. Do you remember they did something where they got a big box truck and they called it like box truck disco, and they had a mirror like ball in it, but everyone was on roller skates and they're just driving around a parking lot like doing donuts, and so everyone's just slamming into each other and into the walls.
That sounds
and-
like fun, though.
No. They hit that stuff really hard.
Yeah.
That would be my pain locker.
I
Pain
think
train.
Pain locker.
I think for me, so I love wrestling, right? So Sting was my favorite wrestler.
You're going to have Sting in there?
He's
Yeah.
60-year-old.
So
60s-year-old?
I would have him in his full attire, face paint, but he would be surrounded by scorpions. He's the Stinger.
So you want him to be in danger?
No, but he's got like mind control.
But he's not. Okay, I was gonna say, he's not immune to scorpion.
Wait,
He's got,
so
like-
so do you mean like he's going to be like the Scorpion King, or he has an army of scorpions?
No, he's not The Rock. He's Sting. He's the original Scorpion King, right?
Don't you dare.
And so these scorpions are just going to be. There's going to be a segment of the pain locker devoted to. It's like a penalty box in hockey.
But everybody's in the pen. Everybody's in trouble.
If you mess up in the pain locker, you go to the scorpion room.
So this is a separate room
This is a
inside
separate
your
room
pain
inside
locker.
the pain
So it's
locker.
like a train.
No, not trains are the only things with rooms.
And then
It's exactly like a train.
There would be medicine balls launched.
Another
The
Jackass
Starbucks
thing.
drink?
Yeah. Launched at an angle, pointed upwards. So, in like each corner of the room.
So they hit the ceiling.
Well, when they come down, so it may catch you on the way up, but if it doesn't, it'll catch you on the way down.
Which is worse?
So is this in the scorpion room?
No. The scorpion room is closed off. It's its own thing.
You've got too many.
It's its own compartment.
It's
of
its
the,
own
it's
thing.
It's its own.
You need to learn to
train
edit.
car.
So then you got too many ideas.
So one train car has
It's not.
one
it's not
train
a train.
car has Sting with scorpions. The next train car is medicine balls.
So we get into the
I've got
first-
my last thing here.
Okay.
the last train car.
This finishes it off because it's the worst. All right.
the worst idea.
So wait, does that mean the medicine ball is worse than the scorpion?
No, I wouldn't say so. This is coming to me as I go.
Okay.
Well, this was your segment, so
I know.
Okay,
All right,
and you
so-
went last.
So, you ever been to the gym? You ever been around someone that just stinks?
Yeah.
Smells bad? All right. This guy I went to the gym with one time.
Was it at the one we used to go to?
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. I think.
Literally 20-foot circumference around him.
Oh, you've told me about this
You
guy
got
before.
within 20 feet. It's just body odor. Like weeks worth of not showering.
There was a guy. I think it's the same guy that would go into the bathroom and he would change, and then he's dressed in like normal clothes.
Yeah.
And then he put on his like gym clothes, and he'd come out, and that bathroom would smell like
Terrible.
if you like stuffed a dirty diaper full of cigarettes.
Yeah.
And that's just what the smell
What
was.
does that even smell like?
I exactly what I just said, but it's something you've never smelled before in your life. It was so weird.
So
and it
that-
would just like stay there.
Considering a locker isn't a very big space,
Yeah.
that would just take up the whole.
So that guy's
So
gonna
what
be
do you
in there.
what do you have
He's
to
in
do?
there.
Just
Yeah.
you just have to stand in there until it's over.
Maneuver the scorpions and the medicine balls.
I thought you said they're in different train cars.
Hannah, you have not been listening to.
You said they're all separated.
So we get to the first part of this final, which is the first kill zone. Which did they say how many kill zones there were going to be?
I guess there's two. Is
Okay.
there just two?
I'm assuming there's two,
I
but
thought
we don't
there
know
was
for
3.
sure. We don't know for sure. I mean, this first kill zone took the whole show,
and was half the.
half the amount of
Yeah.
time or the amount of length.
Yeah.
For the
It was 24 miles.
Yes. So basically, there's a figure 8 like infinity symbol loop, and each loop is 6 miles. And they have to do it 4 times. Half
6
running,
times 4 is 24.
half running, half biking. Now, I guess technically you just had to make sure the bike went all the way around so you could get off and push it or whatever, which a lot of them did. But also, once you finish your first lap, there is a part in the middle that there are 5 checkpoints. but there are 8 players, and they're kind of like little carnival games or mind games or puzzles or whatever. It just depends on which one you got. The first person there gets to choose which one they do, and if all of them are full, because again, there's only 5 of them, the people that are late to the middle area, they either can continue to run and do more laps, or they can just wait around, hope somebody finishes, and then they can go from there. It got super confusing to try to recap all this.
Well, but really neat.
It was neat because you never knew who was in first or who was in
No.
last. And so no matter where you were, you had to keep pushing because you're like, I don't know how far these people are behind me.
And there's a whole separate like mind game to it because you got to figure out like which is the best route for me to go. Like, because theoretically, somebody could have just said, all right, I'm gonna knock this first lap out, and then I'm just gonna do all 5 of these checkpoints real quick.
Oh, I thought you were saying laps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no. I think they limited it to where you could only do 2 at a time.
You can only do 2.
I think so because no one ever did more than 2 at a time. So I'm assuming that there was a limit to that.
Wait,
I thought that was a good. I thought that was a good idea too.
I'm pretty sure at least 2 of these people did 3 games at a time.
Who were they?
I'm pretty sure Ninja Natalie, her first go around, she did 2 games and then finished. And then she came back around and did the last 3 in a row back to back. And then
I don't know. I really don't think that's what happened because I remember thinking, why would you not just try to knock out all 5 games if you could? Maybe they were able to, and it's just people were held up on other ones, so they figured they'd run. I don't know. We never heard explicitly one way or the other if you could. That may be true. Ninja may have done 3.
I really think at least one of these people did 3 games. Towards the end, they did 3 in a row.
Well,
I think that's what Theo did.
I don't remember. The thing is, like, it was really cool because, you know, you could be leading in laps, but if you haven't done any of your checkpoints, you got to do those. And some of them we saw no one completed. And they're 20-minute time limits, so you're going to spend at least 20 minutes at each of them if you time out. And some of them were easier than others, it seemed, but one of them, no one ever finished.
The color Sudoku.
Yeah, no one got that. But I don't even know how we're going to recap this. It was so much going on at one time.
Here's the thing: we don't need to break down
We can't
piece by piece.
Yeah, it'd be way
what
too
happened,
confusing.
who did what, how long it took them here.
So let's do it this way. Let's do it by competitor, how they did on stuff.
Georgia didn't make it past
Okay.
the first lap.
I figured we'd just start with someone. Yeah, she broke down.
Let's do it. Let's talk about let's go from their finishing point, bottom to top. Let's do that.
Okay.
So clearly
Georgia's first one out.
first one out.
Didn't even make 1 lap or any checkpoints.
Yeah.
Dehydrated.
Heat stroke.
It looked like heat stroke because she was so like out of it that instead of trying to push her bike upright, she was dragging it sideways through the sand and then just collapsed.
And then the medic got her, and they were trying to give her an IV, and she literally said, "Is Bear here?"
I mean, to be fair, usually the other competitors do stay in the country until everything's done.
But she might not know that. Why does she think he's going to be in the ambulance?
Yeah, that was weird. If she legitimately thought Bear was in the ambulance, or maybe she's just like, oh, Bear's like 2 feet over. I did email Wes during the show, and he may not be allowed to talk about it. I was like, how long were you guys in the pain locker? Like, how far of a drive was it?
Yeah.
Because they got in.
It looks like that thing was driving really slow.
I know, and that's what I want to know. Like, oh, we were in it for 4 hours until we got to where it started. Or like, oh, we were in it for 20 minutes.
They may not know how long they were in it.
I would think you would have an estimate at least. But yeah, we don't know how close that was to where their house was. And so I got to get you a mute button. I've just got to.
I can't help how sick I've been.
I know, but I've got to do it. That's going to be something I invest in for all of us. We get into Georgia's out. I think 3 laps in is when Maddie DQs.
Well, real quick, shout out to Georgia.
Yeah,
because
she's way better than we expected.
And like this isn't, to me at least, like this wasn't like, oh, she's a weak competitor. Like her body gave out, and it gave out quicker
She
than everyone else
literally
did.
collapsed.
I mean,
She
didn't quit.
She did not quit. Like
I mean,
she was medically DQ'd.
Yeah.
It even went to a point. It didn't just say disqualified. Her little lower third said medically disqualified.
Yeah.
And I think they had to make that distinction because Ninja got cleared after hers.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was out, and it wasn't like she didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Maddie's was a little different. She wasn't medically, but she was like, I just can't do it. And none of us would know like how we would feel in those situations. I don't think any of us here would have made anywhere close to what they did. But she may get crap for it, but sometimes you know the limits of your own self.
Well, here's my thing. One, I do want to get in. I am so proud of Georgia. I just am. Two, Maddie quit in the middle of a final, and TJ came over to tell her how strong of a competitor she is.
Yeah, he just said, "Hey, you got to stop smoking cigarettes."
He did not give her any crap for quitting, and he was so kind about it. It was like he was encouraging her to train, get better, get healthier,
Stop
and come
smoking.
back.
He said, "Stop smoking," and he's like, "Quit being effing like ridiculous," or I don't know. He basically was like, "Don't be dumb. Stop smoking,"
Well,
especially if you're going to try to do these more often.
So that was the real telling thing to me, because I think anybody would be real quick to be like, "Ah, she quit. Like, what a loser, whatever." But
If TJ has her back, I do too.
that's the thing, is like, when have you ever known TJ to, when someone quits?
Yeah.
A final.
Well, no, just in general.
In general,
But a
anything.
final.
I think he'd be more lenient on a final than other things.
Well, because he said he knows this is like the most
Yeah,
brutal
exactly.
final, which I think at this point we would have to agree.
and we've only seen
Ever.
half of it.
I say so far this is the most brutal final the challenge has ever seen.
I'm not going to say that yet, but I think
It's on its way.
Yeah, I agree.
But for him to compliment her
Yeah.
right after she quit, I think it's telling of like, I don't think we can look at it and say Maddie's a quitter
No,
or like
she
anything like
was
that.
3 laps in, I believe, and had done a couple puzzles
Yeah.
or a couple of the games, checkpoints, whatever you want to call them, and she just passes Ninja, and she's like, "I'm done," and they hugged it out. Also, early on when she was running in like the first lap, she's ahead of Car's in last place, and she's like, "Come on, you can," again, still cheering everyone on, even though this is the part for the money, and
That says so much about her character.
she seems very,
She's so
very nice.
amazing.
Yeah.
What an incredible person.
Also, quick little aside to TJ bashing cigarettes.
He's done it before.
Shout out to him.
Yeah.
There's so much information out there now about cigarettes and the terrible things they do to you.
I know we're going to have listeners who smoke. It is kind of mind-blowing to me that people pick up smoking now. I get people are addicted to it, and I get that you may have started for whatever reasons, but new smokers at like this time, kind of like what you're
Yeah.
saying, it's kind of crazy to me that people are like, I'll try this. And
when there's all this information out there,
I mean, there's a million other things bad for you that are part of life, and I wouldn't want to add something else that hindered me.
Right.
well, and like the typical kind of dumb response to this is like, well, you inhale fast food every day, and that's not good for you either, and it's bad for you.
Yeah.
And it's a borderline a sign of ignorance when there's all, and that's just my personal opinion. That's not a shot at anyone. Someone's gonna be real upset with
Probably.
us,
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
But-
hey, we got love for everyone.
My argument to the fast food thing is, why would you defend one bad thing by using
It's-
the excuse of another bad thing?
It's whataboutism. It's a whole thing. It's like with what's going on. If people are critical of Trump, other ones are like, well, what about Obama? Like, well, no one's talking about that. That's a separate issue.
Exactly.
Like it's whataboutism. It's a thing.
I
Like
am-
that's a term now.
I personally, just on a personal level, I am fully against smoking, because I lost my grandfather to that, and it was a very long, drawn out. It was 8 years of my life that I had to see him struggle, and finally his body gave up. So I mean, it's just not something I can't pick it up. I can't. And when Zach and I met, I told him that my number one deal breaker was smoking.
which we had to break you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That was it.
I will tell you this.
Tell me it.
I'm going to break my stance, and when I get married again, I am smoking a big fat cigar.
So what was this whole thing about?
I don't know. What a hypocrite I am.
Yeah.
God,
I
dog.
know. You can do that, but
Oh,
you
my
knocked my water
God.
over.
I can't move. Do you see where I'm at? You are so mad at me.
So
Well, Jake, if you choose to be a hypocrite and smoke a cigar when you get married again, Zach is not going to participate.
So hold on.
You're not.
No, hold on.
You're
Stop.
not.
Stop. So for everyone listening, Jake just like jerked his head back in his chair, and it pulled all of our headphones off the thing. It pulled them off of our recording stuff. The
That's
audio
right.
went out for a second.
Did it?
Yeah, that's what he was referring to, and that's what I just had to reorient. That's why he said he can't move. No one knows what you're saying otherwise.
Well, in my defense of smoking a cigar, supposedly you don't inhale. You just exhale. Is that true?
That's what Bill Clinton said about marijuana in the 90s. He said, I never inhaled.
Listen, I am smoking illiterate.
Wait, how do you exhale if you never inhale?
Oh my gosh. So Georgia got heat stroke.
Maddie quit, and
quit.
TJ wasn't mad.
Well, again, we're doing this out of order. I was kind of trying to read my notes.
You told us to pick from whoever.
This is
It
the
is.
most confusing thing to try to recap.
Yeah.
Like, it just is.
We're doing good. It's
Let's
fine.
just go person by person.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm trying to, and you keep making it stop.
So Maddie's gone. The next person is Hunter because he finished last, which is a funny way that he finished last, by the way. Because
Yeah.
Kara was in last place the entire time. Like, even when Maddie and Georgia were in it, Kara was in last place. And we get to the end, and the main thing that, TJ said was you have to finish all 5 checkpoints, and if someone's on one, you can keep running, or you just have to wait till they're done, which could be 20 minutes. Like, that's the longest amount of time it could be.
Before you time out.
Yeah. Well, Kara and Hunter are doing puzzles at the same time, and Hunter finishes his, and he's got one left, and he looks over, and Kara's on that color Sudoku, which at this point we know every other person has failed on.
And Kara's not good at puzzles.
Yeah, and timed out on, and Hunter's like, well, she just started, so I have to wait until she's done.
So he sat on a post.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing he could do.
Yeah.
So that's why this leg was interesting.
But I will say, what was funny was, I told you, Ninja Natalie finished all of her games and then ran that last
Yeah.
lap. So when she came back to walk through the tire finish line, she sees Hunter just sitting and waiting, and she's like, "That's kind of funny."
Yeah, again, it was. See, she finished hers in a completely separate way than anyone else, and it basically came down to Hunter had one thing left, but Kara was the same.
This is why I think it may have been, if there wasn't a limit on how many checkpoints you could complete at a given moment, knock them out, because you can complete the sprint or whatever at your own pace, whereas
I
you come to
agree
these
with that.
checkpoints,
You
may have to wait
Yeah.
on somebody.
I would say every time you were through there, if there was an open game, do it.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you finish, if there's an open one, do it, if that's allowed. And otherwise, because what we talked about before we started recording was a lot of those are mental things. And
I said this.
you don't want to
Give
do
me credit for saying this.
You don't want to do that once you're tired from running. Like, you want to be fresh and be able to do it. Because, like, even the one that was like the pole with the ball, like, that's mentally frustrating just because you keep knocking it off. But you also need your physical strength to be able to kind of manipulate that. Because we saw, I think, like 3 out of 6 of them did it, and the other ones DQ'd on it. Or not DQ'd, I guess they timed out. But yeah, I agree. As anytime you saw a game open, you should have tried to do it. Unless it was full and then you had more laps to run, then you might as well just try to
So speaking of Hunter,
get that done.
I do want it to be known he was the only person who couldn't finish the puzzle.
Yeah,
The actual
skull.
like,
The
yeah.
skull puzzle.
the circular skull puzzle that was like upright.
Like, everybody got it except for him.
But you know what? Good on him. You know.
No, that's not good on him.
No, I'm saying I didn't finish my thought.
Okay.
Good on him for being able to, own up to his weaknesses.
Oh yeah, he was very adamant that puzzles were his weakness.
He said even in his best state of mind.
His sober, healthy mind.
He was like, I would not be able to do this. And also, so his last one is that color Sudoku, and we were just like, oh, there's no way he's gonna do this. And it would have been really funny if out of everyone he finished it, but we knew he was gonna time out, and he did. Which he was in last place. Give us his time.
Hunter's time was 7 hours and 3 minutes. The interesting thing is, to start this off, he was let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth to the state, the checkpoints.
Yeah.
To start off with, and he finished his second. So like he got a leg up on everybody except for Theo, and then he finishes
Sixth.
last out of the remaining players.
Yeah, it was really interesting how they did all that, but so he's sixth, Kara's fifth, because again she does kind of the same type of thing. She actually, because she's in last place for so long, when there's 8 of them, she's the last person to the games or the checkpoints in the middle, so she can't do one the first time around. So her and Maddie just have to start running again.
Yeah.
I guess Georgia was eliminated at that point, or close to it.
Yeah, she didn't even make it to the checkpoint.
Yeah. So they don't have a choice. They had to just keep running. So that puts her behind on the game. So she finishes all her running before she gets the games ready to go. And obviously the last thing she had to do was that color Sudoku, which we just talked about. She finishes, and then Hunter finishes. And so her time is exactly 20 minutes before Hunter's.
It's weird. You know, obviously Theo, like at the end of this, we said, or I think I looked over at you and said, he looks like he could go for another few miles.
Out of everyone, Theo looked like, oh, if I had to do something else, I could probably do it.
But I would say, even though she finished fifth, I felt like Cara looked like still the most fresh behind Theo.
I don't know, man. Like, we'll get into kind of like post this leg of everything. Like, because they, at one point towards the end, TJ calls everyone over and has them like step up onto the podium, not the podium, but I guess that little like bench or whatever it is where they kind of stand when he's addressing them before dailies. And like she was struggling to walk up to that, but so was everyone else.
Yeah.
Everyone was gone.
She kept complaining about how bad her legs hurt.
Everyone did. I mean, again, in the middle of this thing, like lap 3, Turbo's crying. And like his legs give out on him. We'll get to him in a second, but Kara's in fifth. I don't think she was personally like ready to go. Like, I think Theo looks the most ready, but he's a runner by like
nature.
That's what he's known for. And even he said, this is the most I've ever ran.
And of course, we find out too when he gets to the bikes what he was like, some sort of.
He was a spin instructor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
What can't he do?
Yeah. So he, like, those two things were like made for him. And
Take away his fetish for the tribunal.
Well, and
I like the guy.
Here's the crazy. Well, and we'll get to that in a second. He's like, I don't want to do another tribunal.
Oh, that was bizarre.
So think of how prepared he was for this challenge. How close was Wes time wise? Like 7 minutes?
10 minutes.
10? Okay.
It was 10
That's
exact.
crazy.
Yeah.
He's a professional runner, and he was a spin instructor, and that's the majority of the time on this thing. And 24 miles. And so
Cara is in fifth place, and we said Hunter finished it in 7 hours and 3 minutes. Cara finished it 20 minutes quicker, 6 hours and 43 minutes.
yeah, which, by the way, we haven't said it yet. Thank you. If it wasn't on if it wasn't in the final edit of this final before us and other people started talking about it, thank you for showing times.
How frustrating would that have been?
If they're like, well, he finished first, he finished second.
Yeah, if it just said,
and we had no idea.
Theo first, Wes second.
Because like we had no frame of reference to know that Hunter legitimately finished like an hour and a half after Theo.
Yeah.
Like that would have been so frustrating, because that's the one thing we've been clamoring about with all of the dailies and all that. We have no idea by how much people are ahead. And that was the big complaint about last year's final, was they're like, oh, we never saw the numbers on the screen, so we don't know. I'm glad that they put that on there. That's the number one thing I was glad about this final, was we had actual numbers. So
Ninja is in fourth place. And here's the interesting thing about Ninja. Is there a chance that she's in third place had she not had her breakdown, passing out?
how close is she to Turbo?
Well, So she is in fourth place with 6 hours and 35 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Turbo 5 hours 58 minutes. So 37 minutes. I mean, you don't know how long she's out for.
We don't know how long she was in that.
I mean, you got to imagine recovery time, getting her up off the ground, like checking on her, checking her vitals and everything, getting fluids in or whatever.
I want to say she said
You have to imagine that's at least like 30
she
minutes.
didn't get
there.
fluids. Like, she didn't get an IV. Georgia got an IV. Natalie didn't. Ninja didn't have to get one because they checked everything and they're like, your vitals are all normal, everything's good, so like you're cleared. We don't know how long it took. It would be close, but to be fair, Turbo had a thing where his body just gave out on him. He was sitting on the ground.
Yeah.
We don't know how long that was. I don't think
Yeah.
it was 37 minutes or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely like when they showed that clip, her eyes rolled to the back of her head and she just fell over. And you're like, oh, that's like heat stroke or something. But again, she was cleared. I would assume they would not take any chances, especially considering what happened to Georgia already. She had to have. It just had to be like a passing thing. Like she just had so much exhaustion at that point, and then she was okay.
I think behind Theo, she is who I was most impressed with.
She did very good because she said she's not good at endurance stuff, like long distance.
But to pass out the way she did, and
she
then
was-
just jump right back on it.
She was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just jump right back on it like it was nothing.
Yeah,
She
that
did.
was impressive.
Yeah.
It was her will to compete.
Yeah. I think it's telling of the kind of competitor she is.
Yeah, and again, going into the season, I think we all said she was like one of the number one favorites as far as the rookies, because like this is the type, not this specifically, but like those dailies and all that type of stuff she's built for. But you know, so she finishes, and she, like you said, was one that had to finish the laps last because she knocked out the games. By the way, when she got, we're not going to break down the individual games, but when she did the ring toss one of the worst opening throws I can ever think of. Like, you guys didn't see it. I rewound it and showed you. It was like...
It was almost like a frisbee toss.
She did it like a frisbee and didn't let go until she was like 3 feet past where she should have let go at. And so it ended up landing like...
15 feet to the right.
Like 12 feet to the right.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah.
It's like... It was like if it was like covered in like honey or something and just like stuck to her and then just finally got it off. Horrible opening throw. Only a close second would be Kara's opening like 10 throws, where
She's got it directly like vertical.
yeah, like it's gonna just hit it and bounce off.
And we saw him do that.
It
Yeah.
looks to better explain that, it looked like she was tossing it like you would toss the tire to get it to roll through the opening.
Yeah, dead vertical. It needed to be turned flat to where the whole opening could go over
She
the
needed
ring.
to throw it like a donut.
Well,
Not like a hula hoop.
You throw donuts.
I mean, to be fair, you could throw a donut or a hula hoop in the same orientation. They're just bigger.
But
holes.
you don't throw donuts to roll. You throw hula hoops to make them roll.
I mean, unless you're at Doug Loves Movies, you're not really throwing donuts very much. That's a very inside joke.
I want to know more about Hannah's donut throwing days.
She doesn't have them.
I throw them in my mouth.
God.
So Kara's opening throw is really bad, but again, we're not going to break down the individual games. I just had to say that about Ninja because it was bad.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was
Real
really
bad.
Other than that, great.
Surprisingly bad.
Other than that, she did pretty good. So what was her final time?
6 hours and 35 minutes, 8 minutes ahead of Cara in fifth place.
Yeah, and like you said 8 minutes ahead?
8 minutes
So
ahead.
28 minutes ahead of Hunter. I'm not going to do that for everyone because it's going to get way too confusing. So the next one's Turbo.
Turbo in third place with 5 hours, 58 minutes, 37 minutes ahead of Ninja.
Yeah. So he did very well. Again, his body was giving up on him. Like he just, what was it, lap 2 or lap 3? Like he was just like, he just fell over.
I think it was lap 3.
And he's just like punching his legs. And
his body tried to give up on him, and he literally told it, "No body."
he said, "Sorry, my body." He's like, "We're not stopping." And he's like, "I've got a whole country counting on me. Like, no one wants this as much as I want this."
I feel like he semi-wrote a song tonight
Did he?
with some of these quotes. Like, you could put a song together. Listen to this. I feel a lot of pain. I want to keep going, but the pain won't let me go. That has Papa Roach written all over it.
Polly would love it to get it
Oh,
tattooed on him.
man. No wonder he aligned with Turbo.
Yeah.
And then, of course, sorry, my body, I cannot listen to you. You have to listen to me. That is the chorus
Speaking of,
to a song.
someone like did a
Stained or
someone
somebody.
did a thing on Reddit this week, and it was like, what challengers do you think have the best taste in music? Like, I was gonna say Polly, but then he quoted Papa Roach on his
Yeah,
Instagram.
he loves Papa Roach.
And then
gross.
someone tagged me in it on our podcast account, and they're like, I think
of course.
they're like, I think these people, they're not challengers, but they have the best taste. And I was like, I appreciate that. And I was like, I know it's not for everyone, but it is something that's very important to us. And so
He then gave this could be a bridge. I'm ready to die for first place.
okay,
That's a metal breakdown right there.
okay, so that
You hear it?
but you said it was like a Stained song.
They had you ever hear that song For You?
I mean, maybe, I don't know.
It's got a little breakdown in it. It's got the F word in the breakdown, but
That's all you need.
We're PG, so we won't encourage you to listen to that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So Turbo again, he's crying, like just like openly weeping.
It's that like I'm sick of this.
It's
cry.
like, I'm frustrated. I know I can do this, but my body doesn't want to. I'm not stopping. Like,
because it's where he was making kind of like a moaning noise. Like,
yeah, like he's it's like pushed him to his brink.
Yeah.
And we had some people ask on the Instagram before we started recording, the Instagram live, not the Instagram, but they're like, do you think this final was too hard? And on one hand, I don't, because we've been longing for a good final for like the last like 6 seasons. On the other hand, we know that some challengers have not enjoyed the way that things went this season, to say the least. I mean,
I think it was a little too brutal
maybe, yeah.
from what it demanded physically.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. You're going to earn it.
I mean, this first leg could have been. You
A
could have
whole
said
final.
this is the final.
Yeah, it could have been.
And it would have been up there with some of the most brutal.
So it honestly, this first leg is kind of similar to the Rivals 2 final. Do you remember that one with CT and Wes? Where it basically was, you had to run around the island, and then you came back, and then you had to do like an eating challenge, and you had to run around the island, and then you had to collect a icon, and then you had to like break through all the glass and crawl through stuff. And then it's kind of like that, but
it kind of reminds me of Cutthroat, in that
okay.
the length of
But by the way, that final,
right. So that's why it reminds me of that,
Yeah.
because you had, what was it, Abram and
Sarah.
Sarah, yeah,
two of the people you would never think would quit a
yeah,
final.
and but the length of it, right? And then you had these stations. The only difference
You
was
just had
is, like,
TJ rolling by on a bike at one
yeah.
point.
The only difference was like you couldn't like choose which station you did, right? Like it was in order.
It was like checkpoints.
but it's kind of got that same like feel to it, to me at least.
yeah, I will say at least the checkpoints on this part were way simpler, it seems. But yeah, that Connor, or the guy who we interviewed on our Patreon, who came over from Big Brother, he's working back through those old seasons, and in the Slack group, he's like, I just finished watching Cutthroat. He's like, that final is insane.
Yeah.
And because again, you never would expect someone like Sarah, or just for pure will for her, and Abe. Like, Abram's nuts, and he's a great competitor. Like, they were doubled over, throwing up, like couldn't make it anymore. And like that's one of the biggest like shocking final moments out there that I can remember. But yeah, I do agree. Maybe this first leg was a little too hard. Maybe 6 laps or 4 laps at 6 miles each was a little rough. I like the idea of the laps and then the games,
Yeah.
but it's
24 miles.
24
man.
miles to start.
God.
That's rough, man.
That's I mean, it's a long way, dude.
Yeah.
It's a long.
I mean, and that part alone was like the fastest people finished in 5.5 hours.
Yeah.
Most were over 6.
And you're just talking about like the only downtime you have is the max 20 minutes you have at a checkpoint.
Which you're mentally frustrated because
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I got to get this done. I know this is for a lot of money. And So, kind of like when Turbo finishes and he catches up to Wes and Theo, he's like, "Is that it? Like, is that the final?
Oh, yeah.
Did you win?"
Yep.
And they're like, "No. I think this is the first part."
So if this is 50 miles, that means the next leg
26.
is even longer.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, obviously as a viewer, you love it because it's like, this is what we want in a final, because it is brutal.
It's brutal, and it's honestly, I think it's MTV is trying to make up for how not, or Justin Booth or whoever's in charge is trying to make up for, these last few seasons have not been good. Like, we're gonna make this one a memorable one.
I mean, it's night and day.
It's crazy.
You go back and think of the Invasion
Of the champs.
final where they're canoeing for 8 miles.
Well, and then the last,
I mean, we do that for fun, man.
the last part, yeah, like legitimately, like in the summer, the
Yeah.
last part, they're holding on to a bar as far as they can, and then just have to swim to shore.
And like,
And it's like maybe 500 yards, but they hold on for most of it.
all of them did. I remember that. All
Yeah.
of them held on to like the point they had to release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the end. And they're like, well, it's over.
And think about it. Did any of them look just like
No.
totally out of it by the time it was over?
No, that was Ashley's first win. And that
Yeah.
was like, is she really that good? Like,
Yeah.
that final sucked.
Yeah.
And, shout out CT winning. But
Yeah.
that was not a good final. That was the first time I remember watching live and being like, that was it? Like,
Yeah.
that was the final?
Yeah.
And then from there, we've had a few of them like that. Mm-hmm. Again, last season, I would say at the time, like right when we finished watching, we're like, oh, that was fun. But the more we like thought about it and like really looked at the final, like, man, this one sucked too.
Yeah.
Because again, they had overnight stuff, but it was like, oh, they're drinking wine and they're sleeping in nice areas. Like, it was not. So this one is the complete opposite.
Complete opposite.
It basically, they all finish, which we haven't even got through everyone yet, but they all finish and they're just kind of sitting there, and then they wait for it to get dark, and then they start filming the next part. But we got Turbo. What's Turbo's final time?
5 hours, 58 minutes, and then Wes is in second place, 14 minutes ahead of him with 5 hours and 44 minutes.
Okay, so again, Wes said he came back in the best shape of his life.
I mean, he showed it.
Yeah, I mean, he's
The only complaint is that he timed out on 3 of the 5 checkpoints.
he did, but like everyone timed out on that one, the Sudoku.
He timed out on the tire because he just sat down. He said
gave
he was
up.
getting back spasms.
Yeah. Which we saw Turbo. He tried a different technique than anyone else after a while.
Overheading it.
He like threw like a tomahawk almost. And they cut it to where that was the one that went through, but we don't know if that's what happened. But at least he was trying it.
Yeah.
It does have to kill your back. And we saw with Turbo's first one, he threw it super fast.
Yeah.
And it went like 100 yards past the thing, and so he had to go chase it down. I think that part was smart for Wes, as far as you've got to finish. And if you know it's going to kill you to keep trying to do this, you can't jeopardize your body to the point to where you're not going to finish for some little thing that's going to time out in, maybe 5-10 minutes anyway. So what was the other one he timed out on? Was it the pole one?
I don't remember.
But it was 3 for sure.
It was 3.
It had to be the pole one where he pushed the ball up,
Maybe.
because he did the ring toss, and then he did the puzzle. It's the pole one.
Is it the pole one?
Yeah, that's the only one left.
He made it, Wes made it a point at the open of the episode that he was not about losing to rookies.
Yeah, I mean, he said his motivation was he wants to have a kid and bring the money home, but also to keep it in the U.S.
Yeah.
The biggest threat is Theo. Like, it just is, and he proved it today. And in Turbo would be the second one, and they proved why.
Yep.
So
Strong showing by the newbies so far.
for the most part, yeah. But again, we get in. Wes played it smart. He's older. He's a lot older than these guys.
Yeah.
He's also a lot more experienced.
True. Which, yeah, I mean, he knows what goes in these finals, and I think at that point, unlike Turbo, he knew that this was not the end of it, and so it made sense for him to like sit down during that thing to time out.
I think if you're Wes, though, knowing you're only 10 minutes behind and you timed out on 3,
you're sitting good.
of the checkpoints. Like, you got to feel good.
Except for the fact that at the very end, he just like falls over on the ground.
Yeah.
And they're like, Theo and Turbo are like, you okay? And even a producer off camera is like, are you okay? He said,
They asked if he needed a medic,
and
and
he said no. Yeah. I think he was
What a
like,
vet.
well, even if he did, I feel like he'd be like, no, because he knows if they like don't clear him, like he's not gonna have a chance.
Yeah.
Because 2 people have already gone home. But hopefully he's better now. So, I mean, we know he's better now. We've talked to him.
he
since
just
then.
needed the IV.
Well, yeah, hopefully. But we get to Theo. Theo killed it. He really did.
5 hours, 34 minutes, 10 minutes ahead of Wes.
He did so much better than I expected.
He picked the ring toss first, and that one's not easy.
No.
He got really frustrated.
He did finish though.
He looked so smooth the whole time. At no point really did it look like he was like struggling.
No, I mean he's built to run.
Yeah.
And then bike, we found out. I mean, it is what it is. Like Wes told us when we interviewed him, this is like the best group of athletes that have ever been on the show. Like it just is. And other than like some anomalies like Shailene and some of them, but we talked about it during this. So let's think of the people who are eliminated so far. Shailene couldn't have done this final, the first part. Davon couldn't.
She still deserves a birthday bash, by the way.
I'm not denying that. Davon couldn't have done this. She has asthma. She couldn't keep up with this.
No.
Do you think Jenna could have done this?
I don't know if Jenna could have done this.
Zach?
I don't know. I don't think Zahida could have.
Nani?
Nani smokes. That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley Mitchell smokes, which she was eliminated really early. I think Bananas could have done it because he's done enough of these.
The person I kept wondering about was Paulie.
I think he would have done it. I don't know how. Again, you never know. Like his body gave up on him on that other thing. This is brutal.
It's different. It's different. I mean, he's in cold water.
It is, but Cara was in last place the entire time.
Yeah.
Her and him just do CrossFit stuff all the time.
I don't know, man. I just think like so. Theo really excelled in this, being a runner. Paulie's known for his soccer background,
Well, Wes, same, and
which
swimming
involves great endurance, right? And so,
Yeah, I think the average soccer game they run like 7 miles.
yeah,
Each player.
yeah. And so that's the guy I was wondering about.
I mean, he probably would have done very well, but you never know until you're out there. We
Yeah.
thought Turbo would kill this, and then he cramped up really hard and had to force himself through it. I was worried about Maddie. I don't think Dee could have done it. I mean, it's tough. This is really tough.
Do you think Gus could have done this?
No.
Bear.
No. No. He gave up.
I don't think Bear
he gave
could-
up on that tire one where they were just going back and forth.
100%. I do not think Bear
Didn't
could
he?
have done it.
Or was that the...
Ashley Kane.
No. He would have gassed out. He's just too big. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
He's all strength, and
Yeah.
I think he would have gassed out.
Yeah,
Because he's carrying more weight than most people.
yeah.
Josh, no way.
No.
Nolan twins, no way.
Kyle.
I would say no, because he smokes really a lot. But Kyle did that first. He made it to the first final and made it through. So he's at least been there before.
You know who?
And Kyle has been. He said he's been trying to do better to prepare for the challenge before he comes back on for each season.
You know who I believe would have done phenomenal?
Who?
Not on this season. Josh. And I'm going back
I
to
think Josh would have
I
done
think Josh would have done just fine.
I think Derek K would have been fine.
Yep.
I mean, Frank would have been okay.
Yep. But I'm going back to Vendettas, the opening to Vendettas, where
Yeah.
they had the.
He beat
I feel
everybody,
it was like
right?
a 20-mile deal, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was that much, but it was they were running up the Rock of Gibraltar.
Yeah, and he was
first.
well ahead of everyone.
Yeah. I think he'd be fine.
Do you think Marie could do this?
I didn't mean to laugh on that one.
Oh man,
No, no way. There's
Didn't somebody ask that in the Instagram live?
our guy Mike.
yeah, there's no way. Like Marie is a lot of great things for this show. This is not for her.
What about Jimmy?
No way.
Another smoker.
Yeah, again, smoking's gonna take you out of these long distance ones.
It took Maddie out.
I mean, so everyone that made it, we don't know if they smoke, but I've never seen any of them smoke.
Wes
I
doesn't
didn't know-
smoke, right?
Wes
No.
doesn't. Turbo doesn't.
I didn't know that Maddie smoked until TJ said something.
You
Yeah.
would imagine since Theo is a professional athlete,
He wouldn't.
he's not smoking.
The MTV is they cut around it a lot of times. Every once in a while, you'll see hands out of frame, and then you'll see like smoke like leak in, like Amanda smokes. A bunch like I don't remember if Shane does. It would have been tough for Shane or Amanda to do this. I don't know. It's just this is a freaking tough first leg. Like, it's got to be the hardest opening segment for a final we've ever seen. So get Theo's numbers real quick.
Theo, first place, 5 hours, 34 minutes.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's still insane that it took that long for the first leg.
Yeah.
So basically, you know, we get to that part. It turns nighttime. They're all kind of still hanging around where they were at. And TJ gets everyone up, and he's like, hey, great job. By the way, everyone's limping. No one can move. They can barely get up on the little platform, like we said earlier. But they've got to stand there, and TJ's like, great, you guys did good. Obviously, these people did the best. Oh, by the way, we're going to have a tribunal. And everyone's like, what? Turbo was like physically overcome by that news. You okay?
Yeah, I was just sitting my laptop down.
Okay.
I'm sitting differently tonight, so
Yeah.
I'm having back spasms like Wes over here.
Well, you can move your chair
No,
up.
I'm good. It's fine.
They were all shocked by that, which we've never seen that in a final. We've never seen a deliberation in the middle of a final,
Well, even Wes pointed out how kind of out of nowhere that was.
which is a great twist. Like, for how hard they made this, that is a great twist.
Yeah.
And it probably will become a thing going forward where this is a thing that they kind of fall back on, because it gives you a lot of incentive to do well in the first legs.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be some form of an elimination.
Well, the top three are safe.
Top
And
three
that's
seem to be safe. And
Theo, Wes, and Turbo.
so who's left is Hunter, Kara, and
Ninja.
But here's the thing. There were supposed to be two more left.
Yeah.
But they already dropped out, so that would have been an elimination right there. I wonder if they had something different in store, and then they lost two, and they're like, all right, we got to pivot. But what I said, I think, we know that MTV is very careful about the eliminations they do when it's like male versus female or whatever. Like, there's either equalizers or there are it's eliminations where it doesn't matter how you're built, whatever. Like, it's got to be fair.
Like a mental game.
Yeah, it could be a puzzle thing or like an endurance thing where you got to run and then solve a puzzle and then run and then do something else. We don't know. But they've got to nominate someone, and like, it's all men in the tribunal, but it's going to look at as a sexist thing.
If
but-
they do Kara versus Natalie.
Yeah, but Hunter's in last place.
Yeah. Also, Hunter is not, he can't deal with endurance.
I would be so much scareder in a final. I know Hunter made it last season. I get it. I would be much more scared in this type of final by Ninja and Kara.
I think Ninja's the one that definitely has to go in.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I agree.
Because when TJ came in, he told them to all head into the pain train and get their.
I wasn't going to that yet. Like, we were just talking about the tribunal part first. And
What
then-
I'm trying to get to who they would nominate and why they would nominate each person.
Okay.
Kara was the only person that did not get an IV.
Well, yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying. I wasn't there yet.
everyone else is refreshed. She's not going to be refreshed.
Yeah,
so that may change their decision in who they vote for.
Initially, yeah. I said like it makes sense to leave Hunter because he's in last place by a significant amount. Like, how far is Hunter behind third place?
It was third place.
It's like an hour and 20 minutes or something like that,
see.
right?
Hour and 25 minutes.
Yeah. So almost an hour and a half behind. Now, here's the other thing. We don't know if that is going to factor into a total time or if in the next one they're like, oh, first place gets a 15-minute head start. Second place
All right,
gets
so
a 10-minute head start.
So I'm fine with that. What I don't want to see is like what we saw on was it Vendettas, where Cara won solely, where
Vandellas.
they got to that last puzzle and nothing else you had done to that point had mattered.
You just had to make it there.
You just had to make it there.
I agree. I think
and that's before any of the Cara stands get up. That's not a shot at Cara.
No.
If Zach would have won it, I would have said, that's stupid. Why did it unfold like that?
I think Theo should get some sort of the most advantage. Wes should get the second most. Turbo should get the third most. And it should go down from there, even if it's just staggered by like 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're not going to stagger it by an hour and a half. Like, that's crazy. But
so do you think they do a time reset for the second leg? And
I don't
just
know.
say, Theo finished first, you get a 10-minute.
It could be, or it could be like, hey, we're going to stagger your times. It's just whoever finishes first.
I'm fine with either of those.
I'm fine with either of those too. I don't like the big, it's a deliberation and we're going to walk across coals that everyone's going to walk over and be done with. Like, that was dumb. But again, they know that they're the tribunal. At the time, Hunter's in last place. Now, what they did get to, he's like, hey, go back to the pain locker. There's IV strung up. Everyone's excited. Every single person is like, this is great. We're going to be refreshed, except Cara, who starts freaking out immediately. And obviously, they're not going to stick themselves. Like,
I thought they might.
There's no way. Like, just from a liability standpoint, like, they can't risk someone, like, jabbing.
I think it would be a lot more intense of a final if it's like, oh, you want the IV of fluids? You have to put it in yourself.
Yeah, I don't think they could risk that because you could blow out a vein or something
Get
crazy.
air bubbles or something.
Like you could run into a lot of risks right there. But they have it. Everyone's stoked. Like, she's freaking out, like covering her face, crying.
It's like she's having a come apart.
Turbo is like trying to tell her, your body needs this. You cannot do tomorrow if you don't get this. Like, cars run on gasoline. This is the gasoline. You're not going to be able to do it. And like, so obviously these people are on the brink of dehydration. One of them got heat stroke. Natalie or Ninja probably got something along those lines. Wes had something close to it. Everyone else completely cramped up. Their electrolytes are depleted. Like, you need the fluids. Like, it is.
Of all people, she should know that.
She should. And she should understand that, like, again, we don't know the final outcome of this. If she wins, despite that, that's going to be amazing. But if she doesn't do it, she knows this first leg was insane. The second leg is obviously going to be crazy too. I'm going to need fluids because when else has there been a challenge where, like, hey, we got to make sure everyone's fully hydrated in between?
Yeah.
It's never happened.
So there's a reason. And it's not just to replenish them.
No.
It's because
they need it medically.
Yep.
Like, it's not like, oh, hey, this is cool if you want to do it, whatever.
you're not going to be able to make it without it.
I don't think so. And, like, again, we don't know the outcome. If she does make it without it.
There's there are moments where, like, you can applaud people for their courageousness, their bravery.
Well, this is not
This is
courageous
not
at all. It's cowardice because she should understand. She's been here long enough. She's been doing this for 10 years, whatever.
Yeah.
She knows these are hard. Like, she also knows this one is for $1 million. She likes to tell everyone she's the only single person winner. She should know how much that means, and she should know, like, oh, I don't like needles. I don't like being stuck. Whatever. I have to power through this even if I don't like it because I'm going to need it for this final.
I will say this. I understand the needle phobia. If there's ever the option of getting a shot or taking medicine for several days, I opt for the medicine.
But
if I were doing this final and there was a truck with an IV of fluids, I would be excited to take it.
okay, so again, you have, and I get everyone's phobias are different, but like not too long ago, you had the stomach flu, you'd been throwing up, and you were completely weak. They had to give you an IV because
I kept passing out.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, your body just needs fluids at some point.
Right. I guess what makes me think that I would be excited for the fluids is because I've been in that situation where
And how much better you feel.
every time I would take a sip of water to drink, I would throw it back up.
Yeah.
And I was taking the topical medication to help me not do that, and it wasn't working enough. And once I got the IV, 20 minutes after having it start, putting fluids in me, I immediately felt better.
Yeah, okay. So I don't like needles. Like, again, I have a ton of tattoos. Not the same. Not even close to the same.
No.
I don't like watching huge needles go in my skin or whatever. I've had to have a bunch of shots to go overseas, whatever. I can do that. I just kind of look away from it. I don't enjoy the build-up to shots, but I'm the opposite of you. If I can get a shot that I know is going to make me better in a few hours rather than a few days, I'm going to do that every time. Because I would just rather not be sick and get a steroid shot or whatever. However, like when I have to get blood work and stuff done, I do not like it. I hate watching them dig around and try to get in there. So I get it, but at the same time, I would be like, oh, this is for $750,000.
It's just not smart.
It's not, man.
There's no defense to it.
And this has nothing to do with Cara.
This is not car hate.
If anyone would have done this.
If y'all's guy, Turbo, did it.
If Wes would have done it, if anyone would have, like, man, that'd be real dumb.
Yeah.
If Wes had done this, we probably would have personally emailed him giving him a hard time about it.
I emailed him during the show as it is.
But somebody's gonna come get us.
We haven't been on Twitter. I can guarantee people are like, it's so brave. She's gonna do it. Without. Like, it's just dumb.
Well, which falls right in line, honestly,
Yeah,
with the encouragement of the crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with her. Again, when she won Vendettas, we all were happy she won. We had criticisms of like what you said, where I just reset everything at the end, but it's insane to not do that when, one, she knows how hard she worked to get there. Two, she understands the importance of nutrition and being hydrated and all that because she does CrossFit and like she does all this other stuff. She understands what her body needs.
Would Polly have taken the IV?
Absolutely. There's no way. Like,
Well, he has the Lions mentality, so
yeah.
you know.
Here's the thing. If Polly was there and he didn't take an IV out of solidarity because she didn't, that would be the dumbest thing. Like, Cara's thing was dumb. That would be dumber. I mean, because even if he's fine.
Honestly, if he were in the final with her and she still wasn't taking the IV, I think he would try to talk her into it. And if she still didn't do it, I think he would still do it.
Absolutely.
I don't think he would skip out on an IV because she didn't.
No way. I don't either. Because it's insane. Like, all these people that are in there, like, Turbo went out of his way to be like, listen, you need this to go. But it benefits all of them if she doesn't do it. It really does. Because they all understand. I think Polly would have done everything he could to get her to take that. Because he knows how hard it is and how much she needs it. I mean, again, we'll see what happens. But it seems like a very poor decision at this point. And especially if she might be going into an elimination after this.
Yeah, not good for her.
No. So again, that was the cliffhanger this week was who's going into the elimination.
Yeah. Well, that was my argument. I think before the IV thing, they probably would have chosen Cara versus Natalie. But now that Cara didn't get the IV, she's going to be the weakest out of everybody left.
Well, to be fair, I don't think they get to choose both. I'm assuming they just get to pick one, and then that person chooses from the other two.
That's how it's been.
Yeah, that's the precedent they've set so far. Was that one person gets nominated after the vote, and then that person chooses from the remaining people.
But, I mean, regardless, because Cara didn't take the IV, she's going to be the weakest out of everybody there.
You think so?
They may want to keep her around because of that.
I wonder if they're going to give him the night. Like, he'll be like, all right, you guys will start in the morning with an elimination, or if it's just going to be that night.
I think it'd be awesome if they all voted and they're like, okay, let's go.
If it's that night, like
immediately.
I don't see how any of them compete in it, man. I know all of them but her got an IV. I don't get it.
Well, they were still staggering out of the pain locker.
I think it would be great if they immediately went into elimination and then let them sleep.
It can't be a physical elimination. There's no way. There's just no way. Not even if it's a guy versus girl thing, just because of what they've been through. It has to be something that's just like mentally very challenging. Like, so it can't be like it can't be like the one like D and Davon just did, because that's too physically exhausting.
No hall brawl.
No hall brawl for sure. I can't even think of what the other ones were.
Maybe
Most
this is the time for the chair elimination. Maybe this is the time for that.
This would be the one time. But no, people would be so mad if that was elimination in the final. Like that would be so bad. But I mean, yeah,
What if they just had him play checkers or something?
or like
In that stage of
Mario
delirium
Kart.
from being so exhausted.
That's a good one, Mario Kart.
you can take Switches anywhere now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for next week. However, the only downside is initially when the schedule was released showing this season, like towards the end of the season, it was only supposed to be a 1-part final with a 2-part reunion. And so Hannah and I leave Sunday for vacation and we're gone. And we do not know if we're going to be able to watch Wednesday night. And that means you won't be able to watch Wednesday night.
Well,
Are you going to go to your mom's or something?
I will probably try to watch it live, yeah.
Okay, you try to do that. We're going to try to do that as much as we can because DirecTV has some ways to watch stuff, so I'm hoping there's a way to watch it. Worst case, it might be the next day, and we'll have to watch it on like MTV's app or something, which I don't want to do because it's going to be on like an iPad or something. But we're going to try to watch it as soon as we can, and we'll have to make the decision from there if we wait until we get back to record, which would be Friday night or Saturday, or if we'll just try to record with us where we're at on vacation and Jake at his house.
At my house, yeah.
It's just hard to do that when we're not all in the same room because we have so many like cues. We can like point at each other and like know who's going to take over next. But
It's weighing, do we want to...
it's not going to sound as good. That's the
Did
other
you
thing.
just say it's Wang?
Weighing.
It's weighing, do we want to get our response
I'm still
out?
hearing it's Wang.
It's weighing
Yeah.
on whether or not we want to get it out to you at the same time we normally do, not as good a quality.
It probably, honestly, for us, I doubt we're going to be able to do the same time we normally do. Because I think the place that we're staying does not have cable. So unless I can find a way to watch it live, and I don't think I can watch it at like a sports bar or anything.
Probably not.
Either way, you will be notified. That's why it's
Yeah.
important that you follow us on all our social
Especially
media
Twitter,
outlets.
but we'll post about it on Instagram,
Yeah.
which will push to Facebook and all that stuff. So we will be doing that. By the way, I got to hit through Hannah's notes real quick.
What did you do?
Oh, my phone fell off.
God almighty.
Okay, here we go. Turbo is training for a food challenge. I've literally never seen this. Wes tells Theo he will come a good... So what? Wes tells Theo he will come a good solid 4th or 5th place. LOL, good one.
The not gross this week.
No, it wasn't.
Well, it was a West
Theo-
burn,
yeah, Theo
not a
didn't say
Theo
it.
burn.
Oh, okay.
Why am I star now seeing Turbo
It's supposed to. Why am I just?
has a calf tat? He did have a tattoo on his leg.
I never knew.
This final is going to be insane, but you didn't put an exclamation point there, so it's like this file is going to be insane.
No, you have weird inflection in words.
No,
It's
no.
supposed to be this final is going to be insane.
Well, it's the way that it should be read. This final is going to be insane. 24 miles the first leg, because I had an exclamation point. I'm already proud of Georgia and her attitude/mentality in this final. Georgia, medical DQ on first lap. Ninja's not good at ring toss.
Gross.
No, not gross. West timed out on color Sudoku. Hunter does not have the right attitude. Quote, I can't. Parentheses, this is why you lost.
Last season. That's why he
You didn't
lost
say
last
last
season.
season. That's not on here.
But that's what I meant.
Turbo wants to keep going, but his leg pain won't let him go. Sorry, body. You have to listen to me. Maddie quits, but TJ isn't mad. You're a good competitor. You just got to quit smoking cigarettes. Turbo is ready to die for first place. Wes is only 10 minutes behind Theo. This reads like a kid's book. Theo, Wes, Turbo, top 3 for first leg. Tribunal tonight. Car cries about the IV bag. It's like she's having a panic attack. Boo. In parentheses. Turbo tried to talk her into it. I'm very surprised Theo wasn't excited about being in the tribunal, which we didn't talk about. Theo was like, I have to do another tribunal?
Yeah, it was a real shock to me, man. This is this guy's second home is in the tribunal.
That's why he hates being there, because he's up there so much.
Maybe now, maybe he's just sick of it.
Yeah, he's sick
Kind of like
of it
I'm
now.
sick of coming over here every week.
Well, she said,
Okay, bye, Jake.
Jake's got to love that. And then I'm not going to read your other parts because we haven't got to those yet.
Little more subdued, Han.
Yeah.
I felt like Zach did as much as he could with those notes.
I did. I'm only as good as the source material.
I mean, there were no grosses. There were no.
we might have to cancel this segment.
There were no heart bridge or whatever you
Well,
said.
Alter Bridge.
Alter bridge.
This was an intense episode. It wasn't cute like last week.
It was a hard episode to try to figure out how we were going to recap, and then of course we've gone an hour and a
We
half.
may need to reevaluate this.
All right, so let's get into superlatives for tonight.
Please.
Who smashed some heads? I'll go first because I never go first. I didn't even write mine down.
I didn't either. I was so concerned about the movie.
It's gotta be Theo.
Yeah.
I put Theo.
Gotta be. Wes, very honorable mention. Turbo pushed through what he had. Natalie, Ninja, honestly, I don't know why I'm calling her Natalie tonight.
I call her Natalie.
Ninja pushed through after passing out. She gets an honorable mention. Theo killed it.
I have another one.
Okay.
TJ. He smashed all the cigarette heads.
He did.
He got them. If you want to get mad at me, you get mad at TJ too.
Don't bring this hate on TJ. He did nothing.
No, but that's no. All right, so don't hate TJ and don't hate me.
Okay.
Even though I'm a hypocrite and I want to smoke a big fat cigar at my wedding.
So all right. So who got
And Zach's gonna smoke one with me.
Who got
He is not.
Who got their head smashed?
Georgia.
I go first. Georgia. No. I think everyone involved in this final. Because it's only halfway done.
I was gonna say I don't think there's a wrong answer here.
Yeah. It's very, 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 very tough. And obviously 2 people got disqualified in the first part, and they weren't even halfway done with the first leg. Georgia wasn't even through the first lap. So
No.
all right. Well, let's hit through these last 2 things real quick. We're in 2018 for the movies.
There were so many.
There was a lot of good movies.
Oh my goodness, 2018 was a great year for movies.
I mean, so I'll let you guys go first.
Black Klansman.
Didn't see it.
Okay.
Jake, you are a white male in America. You have to watch Black Klansman.
I don't think that's a prerequisite. But it's,
I want to see it. I just haven't.
No,
So
you need to see it.
I'm giving a what's the word? Honorable mention.
Okay, that's 2 words.
Mission Impossible Fallout.
I thought about it.
Arguably the greatest action movie of all time.
I'm
Okay.
All right,
have you seen Endgame?
no. Have you seen Fast and
You're
Furious?
right, the Fast movies. But that movie,
Hobbs and Shaw is going to be so good. by
I'm
the
so
way.
excited.
I know you're
I'm
excited
so
about
excited.
I'm going opening night to that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. My honorable mention, A Quiet Place.
I didn't see it.
Oh
I didn't see
man.
it. She'd be
I
dead
didn't
in
see it
3
either.
seconds.
Shout out to Jim from The Office.
Yeah.
Because this was phenomenal.
I know. I do want to see it. She didn't want to, and so we haven't.
Why? Why don't you want to see it?
I don't like scary stuff.
It's just, it's along the lines of Cloverfield.
She doesn't like
Matter
I
of fact,
didn't like Cloverfield.
Matter of fact,
I hated Cloverfield.
people thought if this was part of the Cloverfield universe.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's complete. I mean, okay. I haven't seen it, but I want to.
Do you want to watch that this weekend?
No, because I got to get ready to leave.
We're
Let's
leaving.
watch it this weekend.
I just
No.
said no. I got to get ready to leave.
We are packed. I'm getting my nails done Saturday, and then we're packing, and then we're leaving.
Let's
No.
watch it while she's getting her nails done.
See, she'd be dead. In
I'm
3
doing that.
seconds.
I'm doing that Saturday morning.
Me and you, let's do it.
She's got to take her cat all the way somewhere.
Come over to
else,
the house.
so-
We'll watch it. It's on Netflix now.
Oh, cool.
Or Hulu. It's on Hulu.
So that's your. So what was your final pick? Again, she's dead again. She's been dead 3 times
It's
in the
too
last
hot
minute.
in here.
Can I-
The hotter I get, the worse I cough.
Can I
That's
throw
why I
an-
cough all through the night.
Can I throw Annihilation in there too? There's so
What's
many
your
good movies.
pick?
All of them.
No, pick one.
A Quiet Place.
Okay, if you get to pick more than
No,
one,
he doesn't.
my other one is Smallfoot.
So Mission Impossible Fallout. That bathroom fight scene's incredible.
Oh, man.
It's incredible. It really is.
When Henry Cavill cocks his arms.
Yeah,
This is
I know what you're talking about.
So
yeah.
I'm teaching kickboxing now, right? And I didn't even think about this when I
Yeah, cock your arms.
When
Cock
I teach
your
my
arms.
class Saturday, I'm gonna go, and it's gonna sound like a shotgun.
All right, so here's I figured some of you would pick Black Panther. Because that's 2018, right?
I almost picked Black Panther because
Infinity War is in there.
Until we just saw
Endgame.
Endgame. We just saw it for the second time this week. But before that, Black Panther was the only movie I had ever seen twice in theaters because we loved it so much.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's really good. I like Black Panther a lot as a character, but my pick, I went with Into the Spider-Verse.
Really?
Because I thought some of you guys would pick some of the other ones, and I took my nephew, who is 6, to Into the Spider-Verse, and he's never seen anything like that before. He's never seen any superhero movies, and it blew his mind.
But he understood. He's so smart. He got the concept of multiverse.
Yeah, it's all about multiverses and different Spider-Men coming in.
And he totally got it because after you guys finished seeing the movie, I met you both at Red Robin for dinner, and he was telling me all about it.
Yeah, he's too young to watch most, like, any of the Marvel, like, real action stuff, and this was one that was right in his wheelhouse, and he got to see it. He's watched these, like, little Marvel adventures that are, like, done by Disney, which are very, like, kid friendly, but he's never seen a full length movie or anything, and it's really good. And also the animation is really, really cool. Did you see that?
I have not seen it yet.
You need to see
I
it.
haven't
It's
seen
good.
it either.
It's good.
Well, let's watch A Quiet Place, and then I'll watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay. What's your albums for the week? High school album of the week? Because I'm still doing that.
I'm not.
I don't have a high school album, but my album recommendation is Sound and Color by Alabama Shakes.
You should have went with City and Color by City and Color.
Yeah.
That's a high school album.
Yeah, it
for
is,
sure.
actually.
So I'm sticking with that theme because I'm not a quitter, and I'll do it for the rest of this season for sure.
You'd fit in real well on the No Quitters podcast.
Well, they quit, so I wouldn't.
God.
I'm going with Frank Turner, Love, Ire, and Song. He used to be in hardcore bands, but he's this British guy who just does, like, folk music now, and it's really, really good. He has a new album that just came out called Be More Kind, and everyone could be more kind. Like, that's the whole theme of the album is
I think so.
everyone just be more kind.
I think so.
Yeah. Love, Ire, and Song, IRE. It's really good. So what's yours?
One of
No, you get one.
yeah. Era, ERRA, Augment is the name of the album. Super incredible album. Just great hardcore music with some of the best technically sound little riffs throughout the whole album. Good mix of
She's dead again.
good mix
I'm gonna
of
have to leave. It's too hot in here.
You
I
leave
can't.
every podcast before we're done.
it has the perfect mix vocally of cleans and dirties. It's great.
Clean people and dirty people.
Dirty Harry's.
They're really good.
I've never listened to them.
You should give it a try.
You should give Frank Turner a try.
We'll get together, we'll watch A Quiet Place, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and then we'll listen to Era, Augment.
But what about what I just said with Frank Turner?
Uh-uh.
Yeah. So again, overall, great viewing start. I think the people in it probably hated it, but it's a good final so far. I hope it continues to be good, and we get I hope it's a good finish because this season's been really, really good, and we'll see how things go. Again, we'll have to wait until next week to try to weigh in if we're going to try to record remotely. We're going to bring her laptop and stuff. It just won't sound as good. And we may ask on Twitter what you guys would rather us do, if you want us to record as soon as we can, or if you would rather us wait till we can all get together and just sit down and record it
I think I know what people's answer would be.
right away.
I think so. But we can ask anyway.
We'll ask, and we'll go from there because we want to do what you guys want. I'm really picky about audio quality, but you guys may not be. So we'll see. It may not be that bad. The main thing is we got to figure out how Hannah and I are going to watch it. Mm-hmm. So we might be inactive on social media or something for a couple days. Jake will probably be taking over if he watches that night. So
Do you want me to live tweet it?
no,
Okay.
because then it'll probably show up in my feed. It will 100% show up in my feed.
I won't live tweet it then.
Okay. I'll probably have to mute like the words of the challenge and like finale and all kinds of stuff like that. So anyway, we'll be back with you next week at some point. If you're a Patreon subscriber, Logan interview / fantasy draft. It's not really an interview. Will be dropping this weekend. And then Frank will be dropping Sunday for our patrons. And then Monday for everyone else. Frank Sweeney. Again, I'm from Battle of the Seasons. Second Battle of the Seasons, 2012. And Free Agents and Rivals 2. And he was on Invasions of the Champs as well. And he was a mercenary in something. I don't remember. But again, great guy. Had super fun with him. But those will be dropping this weekend. And we'll see you sometime next week. But we will get your input on it.
Do you remember Chief from Fox and the Hound?
Chief?
Yeah, the old dog.
Oh, yeah.
Have a good night, everyone.
Does he say that?
Yeah.